Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are going to take a look at the Lansen C, a tier 8 Swedish medium tank. It's going to be a little bit different than usual because here, this tank was released when I was still doing a break from World of Tank Blitz, which means that I never played it, I know nothing about the tank, but I thought that it would be interesting for me to work on it differently, to work on this video differently, by not allowing you to know exactly what type of tank it is, but rather, as I don't know anything about the tank myself, do something and give you some tips and tricks on how to know if a tank is good or not based on the statistics and what you will see in the first 30-40 seconds into the game. So let's not lose too much time and jump directly into it. So there we go, we just got ourselves the Lansen C, and the first thing I want to do is obviously equipping it with the Mighty Camo, which is a Moose if I'm not mistaken, and it looks, I don't know, to be fair, it's not shocking to me. Maybe I would have loved it a little bit better if they removed the Moose on both sides, but I guess this is what makes it a specific Swedish camo, so I'm not gonna bother with it. And also the second most important thing to do is equipping it rightly to allow yourself to get the maximum out of the tank. To do that, always go for the top provision, which is the one that costs the more. I know it's kind of a hardcore deal because every single battle you will use 10,000 credits just to refill, but trust me, it's gonna make a whole new difference on the long term. Now for the gold shell, you see that we have kind of a lot of spaces, so I'm just gonna put them like this, bang. And finally, removing the consumable to use the usual one I'm using, and especially putting them into the right slots because, you know, after playing a very long time to this game, you start having your habits. So now let's talk about the statistics briefly, and in 3 points, I'm gonna demonstrate to you how to know if a tank is powerful. First, we start with the armor. To do that, you click on the tank and you see that you have all the main armor explained right there. Here you see that at the front you have 70, hull 80, side 70, blah, blah, blah. All of those statistics are telling me that this tank is a freaking glass cannon and that there is no way for us to actually be able to bounce any shells. So you can already throw up the armor profile to the trash, because even if it seems like the tank is angled, and maybe, yes, when it's angled and using its 10 degrees of gun depression, maybe it will be able to bounce on the sides here and here, but if we put that aside, it's impossible for you to bounce anything, which is kind of logical because we were talking about a medium and not necessarily a medium that is meant to hull down, rather peekaboo. And how do I know this information? Because I just take a look at the top speed and you see that the reverse one is 18 kilometers per hour. Usually everything that has above 15 kilometers per hour of reverse back speed means that they are good at peekabooing, because peekabooing is basically the technique with which you come across a corner, you shoot your shell, and as fast as possible you come back to a safe cover from which you can't take shots at all, which is different from the hull down, because the hull down you actually stay in place and you tank the shots, but you bounce them. On top of that, 55 kilometers per hour as top speed. Everything that is above 52, 53 means that the tank has a good mobility. And on top of that, as we equipped it with the improved fuel, which gives us a 10% power boost to the engine power, it means that we are definitely going to get something decent, something that can be in place pretty fast. So this tank seems to have a great mobility. And finally, the gun, which is probably the most complicated thing out there. Here, you're going to focus on three main things: penetration, gun dispersion, and gun depression, and DPM. So it's 4, actually. Sorry. So the first thing, the gun dispersion is kind of good. Everything that is below 0.32 is good and will do the job. On top of that, the aiming time seems to be a great one. But the DPM, boys, the DPM is 1.9, which completely sucks. It's truly horrible for a medium. So therefore, even if all the statistics after that can be good, like the penetration is not the worst, the average damage per shot is not the worst, the gun depression is just awesome, but the fact that you have only 1.9k DPM means that this tank is going to have a special playstyle and that it's definitely not suitable for anyone. Because usually when you have a tank that is that has has its perks, a bad armor and a bad DPM and only a good mobility. The mobility is something that is only used mostly by pro players, or at least good players, because you need to have map knowledge, you need to know how to play your tank, because you're gonna get punished for every mistakes. It means that this tank is... We already know it. I never played it before and I never checked anything, but we already know that this tank is definitely not meant for new players or average players. Now comes the interesting part. We are actually playing live. As you can see, I'm wiggling my mouse to prove it. And basically, as I see a Progetto 46 on the side, I can already tell you that the Lansen C is not worth it, because the Progetto will probably do the exact same job, but in a better way. On top of that, the first time the tank was introduced, it was in crates, and to be honest, having to spend a lot of money on something like that in crates, ooh, that makes me shiver. So basically, what do we learn already in the garage? That this thing is good for peekaboo situations, which means that we need to put our tank in peekaboo situations. To do that, obviously, we will have to get our tank in the right position on the map. But in order to do this, we also need to be kind of careful. It seems like all the enemies are camping pretty hard, which means that we are gonna have to adapt. So there we go, sneaking the first shell. And as you can see, as I mentioned, we have a good gun dispersion and we are using it. Let's keep going. Maybe I can go for an HE shell here. Yes, I can. And finally, it seems like, yeah, I'm gonna do the job, boys. I'm gonna do the job. Just waiting for the 87 maybe to stop. Unfortunately, all my shots are not going through. Not a problem. We have mobility. We are gonna push forward. Because I can already tell you that the two playstyles of that tank are peekaboo plus the mighty circling. Of course, circling right now the Tiger, I'm not gonna bother. I'm probably gonna take a shot in the process, but who cares? I'm just here to deal some damage, if you ask me. There we go for the Tiger. That is probably gonna get killed in the process, and we just have to turn around on the other targets. You see that having 9.4 seconds of reload is not necessarily the worst thing, but not the best either. I mean, you're not the tank that will truly do a difference on the battlefield if you come across 1, 2, maybe 3 tanks in a row, which is kind of upsetting, because when you know that you had to spend a couple of money to get it, it's just kind of a shame. And on top of that, it seems like I'm totally struggling with that boy. No, we got the tracks, so we are good. I'm not gonna bother with the T26 E4 for the moment. I'm just gonna get my hands on the SU. Okay, it seems like it's no longer a good thing to do. And now all I got to do is using my mobility to turn around the T26 E4. And as I mentioned, we have a so good backward speed that we were able to circle him with only the backward speed. So in definitive, what did we see from this specific replay? We saw that, well, we are not a tank that is armored because we got penetrated by pretty much everything. We also saw that the tank has a good mobility because I was the first to be in place. And finally, we also see that it doesn't have the best cannon because obviously I couldn't finish off my targets and a lot of people got more damage than me in the process. So yeah, as I mentioned in the statistic part of the video when we were in the garage, all of the points I pointed out were true. So now let's go for a second one on Castilla. Once again, here we are top tier because usually when you get the first 5 battles, if I'm not mistaken, with a tank are only top tier, which is of course easier for me. But I don't think, and nah, I'm pretty sure that the Lansen C will not be able to tank any shots from tier 9 and will not be a good tank fighting against tier 9. It's not like Progetto or even Dracula. I'm pretty sure that a Dracula, the tier 7, could do something against tier 9. But as we abandoned the +2 matchmaking, +2 -2, we have to deal with the rest. So there we go, boys. I'm not used to take this position because usually I don't like getting into this position. I know that the RHM is probably camping in the back, which is what frustrates me the most about those kind of tactics, because you have to deal with those. Let's hide. Of course, the T-34 E1 missed me. Can we maybe get a shot? Yes, we can. At least the penetration on that thing is doing an amazing job. Can we get the RHM, yes we can. I'm gonna try to get as many shots on the RHM as possible as long as I see it, but it seems like it's not going to be the case for a very long time. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not staying here with the RHM in the back as I don't have any armor. We are gonna move around, probably try to kill the bulldog or even going with the two lights. And pushing through, getting the lava, because after all, that's what we want to do. They all went on this side, except for the tiger one that went alone on, on the other side. GG, man. But yeah, you see that we have to play it carefully, which can be frustrating, because to be honest, I don't like playing carefully with my tanks. When I play World of Tank Blitz, I want to have some fun, and I'm not having fun when I have to deal with those kind of bullshit. But hey, you can't get only aggressive tanks, otherwise the gameplay and the matchmaking will be totally broken. Okay, can the lava show himself again, or is he just gonna stay there? Yes, he's showing himself. Perfect, we sneak our shots, and you see that, well, it seems like it's actually possible to bounce things in the turret, which means that I might be wrong on the hull down peekaboo factor. Maybe that the tank is actually usable a little bit in hull down, but I would not try it too much, to be fair with you. I would just maybe in case of extreme situations, yes, show your turret and expect a bounce, but otherwise do not bother. So let's go. We are sneaking our shells. We got, wow, we got a full damage from the RHM. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. I'm gonna try to adapt. I'm gonna go on the next house right there. And hopefully I'm not gonna get attacked by the RHM. I know that I'm spotted. I'm pretty sure that the guy is waiting for me. So I'm gonna wait for the IS maybe to go around and get shot by the mighty RHM. I'm gonna take a look at him to see if he gets penetrated or not. Okay, that was quick. And finally, we need to find the E25. It's going to be extremely boring, so I'm gonna cut the video now because it's probably gonna take ages before we get into him. There we go. The mighty one is dead. We get the win once again, and we're kind of happy. We did the exact same game as the previous one, if I'm not mistaken. 1 kill plus 2.4k damage. And yeah, that's it, boys. That's it. This is the Lansen C for y'all. I want to go for a third one because I feel like it's important to have 3 of those games in order for us to know if yes or no the accuracy of my analytics are good. So let's go. And by the way, I'm sorry if this seems a little bit trashy because there is literally no conductor fill to the video. It's just that I thought that it would be interesting to show how statistics about a tank are telling you and saying a lot about the tank. So now let's keep going. We are gonna try our luck into the positions I love, and we're gonna test if the hull down is effectively a good tactic with this tank. Personally, I'm not a fan of the tank right now. It's just a lame one, and thinking that it was first sell in crates kind of makes me shiver, if you ask me. There we go. It seems like the WZ-112-2 is alone. There are 3 tank destroyers that are probably all camping in the back, which is gonna be tough to deal with. But hey, this is part of the game. Come on. Move, WZ, move. Is he gonna move? Probably not. Am I gonna get shot? Probably yes. Okay, we circle him, we destroy the tracks, always destroy the tracks, boys. And hop, there we go. It's over for the guy. We sneak in another one on the ISU. And yeah, as I mentioned, ooh, is he AFK? Oh, god damn, that's kind of a shame for the enemy team, 4 of them. Okay, the guy's gonna die, yes he is, and now we only have to deal with the rest. We already won, that's kind of a shame to see that the matchmaking is still shitty, and that there is so much disparity between teams. I just hope that Wargaming is gonna fix that, maybe in the 9.0 update, even if I know that it's not their main concern. 10 degrees of depression in the nutshell! And there we go, we got the fella. Alright, so now, what are we gonna do? Circle, use our mobility, and there is nothing really hard about the game right now. I'm gonna ram the RU just for the record, because it's funny. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a shot with this, but who cares? And look! Nice one. Okay, perfect. There we go. The ICU is gonna get bullied as usual. Maybe I can hammer rack it. No, I did not manage to, unfortunately. Okay, the revalorization is probably going to do the job. Yes, it does. And now I'm using my 10 degrees of gun depression, trying to track down the Lansen. Unfortunately, you need 2 shots instead of 1 when the tracks are full without any problems. There we go. Killing the boy, getting 3 kills, finishing the game. And once again, we used the mobility. We tried not to stay in direct contact with the enemy team, because something I forgot to mention is how I did not try to stay in front of my opponents and be the main guy they want to attack, because thanks to your armor, it's something that is impossible to master. And well, we did a couple of credits, and it's just awesome to see that in 3 games I played with the tank, I did like maybe 400k of those credits, even if I don't need them. So yeah, basically, I know it's kind of a trashy review, at least in my opinion, but I just wanted to give you some tips and tricks on how to know in advance how a tank is gonna act on the matchmaking on the battlefield. Of course, it's not necessarily something useful for you guys, more for YouTubers or wannabe YouTubers, because when you're a YouTuber, you need to have an analysis of every single tank that comes out, and you need to do it as soon as possible, because there is some kind of competition. Usually when a new tank is released, you get the first video of the tank within 2 hours. So it's important to know that if you are a wannabe YouTuber. So hopefully you enjoyed. Personally, I liked doing this review because I always like playing new tanks, even if in the case of the Lansen C, it's kind of a pretty normie tank. But yeah, you know what, it's always a new tank, and at least this one I didn't have to spend a lot of credits or gold to get it. It cost me 15,000, which is, by the way, too much. It's way too expensive for such a tank, so don't bother, do not spend any of your money on it. And hopefully, I'm gonna see you soon for a new review, new video, new whatever. Probably doing a little bit chat about the 9.0 update, because the stream is out. I did not check it, and I don't know what's going on in the 9.0 update. But I would like to give it my analysis on how it's gonna affect the game, because right now that I play less and less because of my work, because of adult life, I feel like it would be interesting to have the opinion of someone that is not 100% into the game. So hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, you know what to do, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.